Hi, welcome to Planetary Calendars, Astro Portraits. I'm Ralph D. Meaches, one of the calendar's astrologers. Our portrait this time is Robert Downey Jr., and he's part of our action actor roles. Now, before I get started, just please remember to come visit us at Planetary Calendar Astrology on YouTube. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe and push the little button so you get reminded, because we do our forecasts every Friday for the coming week. And then we do our educational portraits, which hopefully are entertaining, every Tuesday. So let's look at Robert. He's born on April 4th, 1965, a Sunday. He's born at 1:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in New York, New York. In other words, Manhattan. He has the sun at 14 degrees Aries in the ninth house, conjunct Venus. So this is a person who has great personal charm. People just tend to like him, even though it's an Aries, which is not the strongest position for Venus, but it's conjunct the sun, which is exalted in Aries. So no matter what you do, people are going to like him. He also has Mercury in Aries, retrograde, interestingly. This is a person who's a deep thinker. And then Vesta in Aries as well. He has Leo rising. And it's very interesting because the sun in the ninth house forms almost an exact trine to his rising from 14 degrees to 13 degrees. In fact, it spans it because it's at 13 degrees and the sun and Venus are 2 degrees apart, so it hits that little midpoint. So he really is able to bring that charm and energy right to the forefront, which is something you see with Downey. And then, just because that wasn't enough for most people, he has the moon in Taurus, the exalted position, in the 10th house, so the arts. The love of the arts, like Venus conjunct the sun wasn't enough to infuse that, right? He's got the arts and conjunct Jupiter, also in Taurus, in the 10th house. So a career in the arts was just a natural for him. Success in career in the arts, thanks to Jupiter conjunct the moon in the 10th house. It's just a very, very strong position. This is funny, he has Mars, Uranus, and Pluto, and the part of fortune, all in the second house in Virgo. We have seen so many of these action actors who have Virgo Marses, which is funny because you would think Virgo Mars is kind of very particular, but it's actually very precise. It shows a lot of physical dexterity, a lot of a very, very good control over the physical body. In the chart, Mars is the first visible planet. So that kind of, he may come across a bit as a dandy when you meet him, because the Mars in Virgo, it's like the Mars in Virgo doesn't really like to touch anything dirty. It doesn't like to touch stuff that much unless it can be doing something practical with it. The fact that Uranus and Pluto are there is real interesting because it adds a lot of physical electricity to his physical body. Now, what's funny about this is that he has had a role as an action actor thanks to Ironman. But he's not by nature an action actor. When we're looking at action actors and actresses, you're looking for strong Mars and strong Mercury. Well, the Mars rule signs are Aries and Scorpio. And he has really good Aries in there. He's got, 3 major planets in Aries, okay? He has Neptune in Scorpio, which is not that significant. He has a node in Gemini, and then he has the Mars in Virgo. So he has the Aries-Virgo connection. But it's the Aries-Virgo. This is 150 degrees. That's the quincunx. That's the most feminine of aspects. Not quite the most feminine, but it's up there in the top 2. So that there's a certain genius, like things kind of come out of nowhere in his life. Stuff happens to him. Pluto is an exact quincunx to it. The sun, Mars and Uranus are very close quincunxes to it. Stuff just comes out of the blue, financially, in a career, and in terms of who has helped him. He's had a lot of help from people over the years. But what's really funny is his role as an action figure has been mostly as Ironman. Well, if you actually watch the movies, he doesn't do that much. It's not like he jumps over stuff or hits people or, shoots guns. No, he stands there and the suit surrounds him and then he flies through the air. Well, it's Iron Man. Ironman is ruled by Mars. Mars is this leading planet in the second house, the house of money, among other things, where his part of fortune is. He's made a lot of money from these movies. Virgo is the sign of machinery. So it's Mars in the sign of machinery, right? Mars iron in the sign of machinery, making him a lot of money. That's connected to his sun in Aries. Aries is a Mars ruled sign, and Aries is the quintessential iron energy, or Aries is the Iron Man, right? So it's just a perfect picture of that. And yet he has Leo rising, and it's funny how within this group of actors who are in, this ensemble, who are a bunch of alpha characters. They're all alpha characters. He really just automatically rose to being the leader. And it's partially because, well, he's supposed to be the wealthiest. No, he just rose to being the leader because of all these different action actors. I think he's the only one I know of who has Leo rising. A bunch of Scorpio rising, Sagittarius rising. He's the only one I can think of that ensemble, who are not part of the Avengers, who has Leo rising. And that's so he just like steps out in the front and says, well, guys, this is what we should do. Even though it may not even been written into the script quite that way, but that's kind of the way it probably evolved. Now, the interesting things, we've been looking at how do these people's charts relate to other people. Throughout this, his polarity has been Gwyneth Paltrow, playing his secretary and then love interest over the period of time. What's her chart like? She is so far away from being an action actress, so far away. She has the sun in Libra, conjunct Pluto. So there's a lot of deep drive there, in conjunct Mercury. She has Mars and Virgo. So they share that Mars and Virgo. It's something you find in a lot of actors. Conjunct Pallas Athena. So there is a certain warrior goddess in her energy, but it's more of a healing energy, which probably has a lot to do with the product line that she produces. Has a lot to do with healing. She has Pisces rising. I can't think of any of these action actors that had Pisces rising. It's just a little bit too, how do you feel about this, dear? And let me smack you. That doesn't really work. And then she has the moon in Gemini. So she likes the playfulness of this. And they both have like some of that in there. But what's interesting is that their suns are so, they both have stelliums in their sun signs, him in Aries and her in Libra, the two polarities. And then think about Mars-ruled people and Venus-ruled people, especially Mars-ruled people. They like the opposite sign. Mars really likes Venus. It should be pretty obvious by now. Mars really likes Venus. And so having her be on the complete opposite side of the equation provided a really important counterbalance for him playing his role. Because otherwise he could just be with the sun in Aries and the Venus in Aries and, it just in Leo rising, he could just be intolerable. But the fact that she loves him is like an endorsement for him. Oh, he can't be that bad because after all, she likes him, right? And that's really how it plays out. So it's just a very interesting portrait of a non-classical action actor, and actress to a certain extent. So, I should give you the data for Gwyneth. She's born on September 27th, 1972, a Wednesday, at 5:25 p.m. in Los Angeles, California. So they're even born at the opposite ends of the country. See? Polarities. Isn't it grand? So come back and see us on Tuesdays for our educational portraits, which are hopefully entertaining. Come see us on Fridays for our forecast for the coming week. You can find those at Planetary Calendar Astrology YouTube. Please subscribe. Push the little button to be reminded. And you can always find us at planetarycalendar.com for our calendars, for our books, and for whatever. Until next time, be well.